Yeah,
Hello
Umair, the
everyone.
stage is yours. You can start your presentation.
Yes. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Umair Malik. I'm from Pakistan. I'm the student of chemical engineering and I like to study and reading book regarding to the philosophy. So the topic which I choose today for my presentation that is consist on philosophy. I will tell you about the pre-Socratic philosophy today.
Please, please,
So
sorry. Your voice is cracking. Take the mic close to you.
okay.
Yes, Umair, keep going. We are not hearing you, Umair.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay now. So before I start my presentation, so I requested to Mr. Heliz Adhikari and Dev Bandari. Uh, when I never give any presentation in my life. That is I think that is very long for me. I give only 2 or 3 minutes, so I think it will be on 13 minutes. So when I start wobbling or fast track, so you can give any good word for me, which I use and I will continue my presentation.
Yeah,
Okay, sir.
Omar. Don't worry, okay?
Okay, sir.
We are here to support you. So don't
Okay.
worry.
We are not
Yeah.
seeing your
Just
face.
go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. The topic which I have chosen for that is, as you know, that is a pre-Socratic. So I start with a quote that is more today that we did yesterday. Now I'm going to start my story. The story is like that. Long time ago, when all the people were living in the Africa, if we start our heritage, family heritage, or we see the family tree, if we if we if we go through this, if we go through these branches, it will related to the Africa. So that's why I'm saying our human mankind started from to the Africa. This data I collected from the paleontologist and archaeologist. As you know, paleontologist is the study of life on Earth as based on fossils. Fossils regarding to the animals, plants, bacteria, etc. And archaeology is the study of human activity through the recovery and analysis of material. So when the people were living in the Africa, they were nomadic, they liked journey, they were tribal people, they like to socialize. Therefore we like mostly socializing. Nowadays we use mostly now we are socializing with each other. So it's our ancestors were doing these kind of activities. So that's why we are going to do this. It's our instinct. So when the people were living in the Africa, they were facing many issues at that time. I don't know what is the situation is now, but that time I'm talking about that time because the technology has been rapidly changes the world. So the things the danger that time they were facing that was regarding to the temperature because that time the temperature reaches to the 170-degree Fahrenheit and there was a dirty water as well and the predator which may hunt them in the darkness. So the people of Africa to started to take opinion with each other and they decided we will migrate from these people. Not every person, most of them decided to migrate from that place. So the people decide, many people decided to do this, and they divided into 2 or 3 groups. One of the group start their journey towards the Western Europe. Western Europe, they go there, Greece, Italy, Sicily. The coast which united them that is called the Mediterranean Sea. Through they go there. And the other group of people go to the eastward. They go to their China, Russia, North Russia, and India, and they pass it through the Russia, North Russia, and they cross the intercontinental bridge, and reaches to the Alaska. I'm just giving the introduction of this. So, what do you think? What was the situation of that time? Was the people who were journeying, who were on the traveling, they were migrating that time. They were unnavigated. They were not any hospitalization. They were, if they got any accident, if someone fell from the rock, his hips will broke, and if a person mingled their arm or dislocated their arm, there was a very terrific situation that time. If we imagine about this, that was the very horrific time when they were traveling from Africa to the other regions. So when they reach, today I'm talking to the Western philosophy. Now I'm going to tell about the Western philosophy. The people who reach the Western Europe, Greece or Italy, they started to civilization. According to the data which I collected, the people started civilization when they have not cleverness. It doesn't relate to the cleverness, because each and every person, according to their situation, according to their surrounding, according to their mentality, each and every person has its own perception and cleverness as well. So I think it's not a key point for the development or civilization. The key point was the natural necessities which will fulfill their requirement, shelter, as well food, as well we can say, and safety from the predator. That was the issue in the Africa. So they started the civilization in Western Europe. So they decided to devise their civilization, and they gathered and they work on their civilization. When those people who were in that city, who were in that region, that is the Western Europe, they have two kind of thoughts relating to the Western Europe. One is Greece, that is Ionian. Today we will discuss the Ionian type of thoughts, and other was the Italian. So we will discuss the Ionian, that is related to the Greece. A prominent when before the Socrates, there was no any philosopher at that time. So Socrates came 469 BC, and there were the countless fight, because they were not accepting the pre-Socratic people who can do. They said that they are not the philosopher. They have not there any working in that kind of terminology. So though the Socrates people don't accept them. So there were the too many fights between them, between the Socrates and pre-Socrates. So the people who were the pre-Socrates, they think like metaphysical, like the study of everything around us, how made and how did it get here. And Socrates followed their rule. That was the epistemology. Epistemology is how do we know what we know. Before before Socrates, the philosophy which were existed between into a few kind of people, that was a very elite or that was very rich. So it was not riches to the everyone, not every single person. It's including into the rich and elite people. So the classification of my data is described in three phases. That one is the pre-Socratic, second is Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, and third one is medieval or pre-Socratic. So now I'm going to start the pre-Socratic. Pre-Socratic. The people pre-Socratic means the people who the philosopher became from the Socrates. And you know the Socrates was a very famous philosopher in the field of philosophy. The one people, the first one, OG, we can say he was the OG of the philosophy. OG means nobody came before him. His name was Thales. He came at the time of 620 BC. Thales. In that time, there were the very rumors which are surrounding in that environment. That one of the most important was the theory of magnet alive. They think that the magnet is alive. When two magnet or one metal or a magnet, when you try to reach to each other, they start to moving. They feel that they have the life. So in that era, the philosopher born, he was the Thales. Thales was a mathematician, astrologist, and he was major was in the geometry. So when he came in this situation, he first of all he refused to the theory of magnet. It's alive. He said that it's the movement of metal from one to another, and he gave the reason, logical reason. When he said when we rub the metal, it will convert into the magnet. So that's why he gave the logical reason to them. So the Thales, the person, the first philosopher in the field of philosophy, he traveled to the Egypt. During the travel, he learned the geometry and astrology. So when he came from their journey into their own region, that was the Ionian. There he started to noticing, he started to observing the nature. He focusing on the cloud, the climate as well. He observing that when they have the significant amount of air, significant amount of raining, then we have too much crops. There are olive crops, wheat, barley, this kind of thing. He was seeing that at that time when he was observing this situation, when he have the significant amount of raining, we can get the maximum yield of that crops. Then the other side of the people who were living with him, they were going to they were getting buying the god regarding to the harvest who can give the much yield of this. So they were observing, they were getting, they were buying these kind of things. But the thing is, who were observing the nature, how
Excuse me,
we
Umair.
can improve our yield.
Hello.
Yes.
So we are not hearing you so clearly. Could you please bring your mic nearby your mouth so we could hear properly?
No, I think we are hearing him clearly. Heliz, sir?
Yeah, our Stalin also
Is
is
it
also
okay?
saying same thing. That is why.
Heliz sir.
Yeah, now okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
Heliz
Omar.
sir.
yeah, yeah.
Is it
Okay,
okay
okay.
now?
Yeah, now okay. Please.
Stanley? Stanley, is it okay?
Stanley, unmute your mic and say
Yes, I can
something.
hear. I can hear now. I can hear now.
You
Okay.
can hear now. Okay. I was on that point. When the people who were living with him, they were focusing on the God who can give the much yield of that crops. But the thing is observing the nature when we have a significant amount of raining, then we can get the much amount of yield from that crops. So it means he was a rationalizing that thing. He was a rational person who was to understand and reason how it could be possible now, how we can do this. So he's given that theory regarding to this, and he became the rich, and he cultivated the seed of olive oil, and he was noticing now in this season we have too much training in our region, so we can get too much amount of yield, and he get too much amount of yield, and he become a rich at that time. And one of the most important theory he was given, that was that everything in our surrounding is consist on water. For example, because he was living on the coast, so he said that the land on which we are living, that is floating on the water. So his theory, the people start focusing on it because they also were living there, and they start to accept it. His he and also give the water is the versatile substance on earth because it changes its motion. because it changed. We can see that it would be present in the form of solid ice, it could be the present in the form of liquid and in the form of gas as well. So he was noticing the thing in very dramatic way. That I'm talking about the water. So the people before the Socrates and the people who were before the Socrates, they were the metaphysical. They have the metaphysical thoughts. And when he noticed the this movement of water, this benefits of water, he gave the monism to the water. He said that is the monism. Pre-Socratic people, the pre-Socratic philosopher, they agreed with this theory and they disagreed. When many of them said the air would be, the fire would be, but they didn't accept it. They accept that the water is the monism. So the one of the most important thing he has, he loves to teach the people because he came from the Woodbury city that was the Malaysians in that time, and he's starting to do their schooling and giving the lecture, to the school, to be giving the knowledge to their students, to the people who were living in that city. And one of the most prominent his student was, his name was Anaximander, and he was the second philosopher who emerged from these people. It came at the time of 610 BC. Anaximander, he was also an astrologist, and he has many ideas. But one of the most important idea, the people who are using and working on it, and also observing this, that was he said that the existence of people, the people who came, first people who came, they cannot came on the earth because when our people it came in the form of baby, how it will survive, how it will be fed, how we can protect themselves from the other things. So he said the people, the first human, mankind came, it born into the belly belly of the fish. The first man came from the belly of the fish. When the fish in the belly of the fish it remained most of the time in the belly of the fish. When he become the most, when we have the most power, and then he cut the belly of the fish and it come outside and come on the land. And this theory that was given by the Anaximander, he was a student of the Thales, and he also was the second philosopher. The birth that time, the post-Darwinian, because as you know that Darwinian theory is the, according to the human mankind, they said that people derived from the apes, monkeys, with the passage of time. But the post-Darwinian people, they start to contradict how it will be possible, and they didn't accept this theory. So it was a impact on it, but it doesn't matter because it's a Darwinian came from after a long time ago. But it's after when they read that his theory, they started to contradict. So when after that, with the passage of time, in Ionian coast, another philosopher emerged. His name was Anaximenes. It was the time of 545 BC. He was the many theories is given to the, he was many observing, but people did not preserve this theory because it was conflicted. He gives like the what we can mist condensation, these kind of things regarding to the chemistry. People didn't accept it and they did not preserve this. So that's why they didn't get any fame in that field. So with the passage of time, there the another philosopher emerges. His name was Heraclitus. Hello guys. Okay, Heraclitus. Heraclitus was the fourth philosopher in the Ionian coast that is located in the Western Europe. Heraclitus was a very ignorant, arrogant person. He was anti-socialist. and he do not want to pollute their ideas to the people because he want to pure it, he want to keep it his own self. When he was starting to writing a book, when his book reached to the king of Persia, as you that was the most famous Darius. Many of them listen about this. When he read his book, it was related to the surrounding, to the nature, to the universe. Then he sent a person to him. He said that the king Darius want to meet you. Darius was a very ignorant and inarrogant person. He said he refused him and he started abusing him and he said too many things to him. And he told what we can say, he go empty-handed and he did not reach there. So can you see that he was how much ignorant he was, because the Persian king was a much powerful kingdom at that time, but he didn't accept. He doesn't focus who is he. He don't want give any importance to that person. So he refused him and he started to use. And he's the most of the famous theory he given, that was the he said you can never step twice in a river, in the same river, which are floating in front of you. That was the most important theory. He said that never a man or a woman can never step twice in a river. I can explain it like now. He want to say that when we put our foot in a water that is floating, the molecules of the water which are contacting with our foot, when we put outside that foot, when again we put our foot, that will the molecule will be changed. So that's why he said that the never step twice in a river. Anybody can. So my topic will end here today because philosophy is a very long journey. I will continue in my next presentation Ionian coast, Ionian philosopher. So I think today it is enough for me and enough for us. I know that is a very short, but I did it only.
Okay, guys, thank you so much,
Yes.
Umair,
Anybody
for your
else?
wonderful presentation and opinion regarding this philosophy. Anyway, so yes, guys, if you have any queries, any question, you can have now.
Yeah, I have lots of queries.
Please.
I know.
Yeah, first of all, namaste to you all.
Namaste, brother.
Yeah, Umar, salam alaikum and namaste.
Walaikum salam and namaste to you, brother.
Yeah, my first question for you is what you are studying?
I'm studying chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering? Yeah. Okay, first I want to know how do you define that philosophy, the word, the
Philosophy.
terminology, the
Yes,
philosophy?
I can define here, but if I will define here, that you cannot get the enjoyment of that word because I will give in the second and third presentation. I will describe each and everything because as I already said to you, it is a long journey. Each and every question will arrive, and in my presentation there will be the answer of these questions. If you have any question, I can tell you, brother. If you told, I can tell. Philosophy is the combination of two words. One is philo and second is sophia. Philo means love or attract, and sophia means wisdom. It means the love of wisdom.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay, now for now, only this much.
Hello, Umar.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Sandeep
Yes, Sandeep, sir.
from
Sandeep. Yes, Sandeep, it's sir.
Nepal. Yeah, yeah, I'm very impressed uh, listening your presentation.
Thank you, sir.
You have, yeah, you have the deep knowledge of philosophy.
Thank you.
Uh, so you are the student of what did you say
Sir,
before? What is your
I'm
subject?
doing chemical engineering, but my friends are reading this stuff, and that's why I like it too. It gives me fascinated. It captivated me
Yeah,
as
you are,
well.
yeah, you are interested in
In
philosophy as
philosophy as
well.
well.
Yeah, it is very good to have interest in philosophy because it is the way to get out from our
Yes,
misery.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Are you? Yeah.
Sir,
This is
I
the.
when sir, I want to say that when I will give the second or third presentation, it will create more interesting facts which will arise, and it will give you shock how it will be possible, how they can think about that. So that was just an introduction, and all the pre-Socratic thing. When I reach to the Socrates and Plato, Aristotle, then you will get more interesting facts and knowledge regarding to the philosophy.
Mhm. Just as I know the this season asks you the question, what is the philosophy? Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. I want to tell what I know,
Okay.
the exact what the meaning of
Yes.
philosophy. Just you